The first punch didn't come from a fist. It came from a letter. Your services are no longer required. For Ethan Cole, a former aircraft technician with 14 years of loyalty, the words cut deeper than steel. Laid off. Just like that. He stood in the parking lot of his now former job, letter in hand, jaw clenched, watching the sunset smear red across the sky like it was mocking him. He didn't scream. He didn't cry. But something inside him cracked. Sometimes life doesn't whisper, it roars. And you either run from it or rise through it. That night, Ethan sat in the dark on the floor of his small apartment, surrounded by silence louder than any storm. Bills stacked on the table. Savings down to a trickle. No backup plan. No warning. His hands trembled. His confidence? Shattered. But deep within him, buried under doubt, disappointment, and fear, something stirred. A voice. Quiet but unshakable. This isn't the end. It's the beginning you were too afraid to choose. The next morning, Ethan stared at himself in the mirror. Hair tousled. Eyes red. But something was different. Determination. He opened his dusty closet. Pulled out an old black notebook. Inside were blueprints, ideas he once sketched late at night, designs for a new kind of drone, lighter, faster, more precise. Dreams he abandoned the day he chose stability over vision. Now, he had no job, no safety net, but he had time, and he had one shot. Inner strength isn't loud. It's the whisper that tells you to stand up when you have every reason to stay down. Ethan poured everything into those pages. Days turned into nights. He studied, redesigned, coded, soldered. His tiny apartment became a lab, a battlefield, a place of rebirth. But the world didn't wait. Rent was due. Groceries ran low. Rejections came fast. Emails that said no thanks. Calls that ended too soon. Friends doubted. Even family gently suggested he get real. He smiled at them all and said, "You only fail when you forget why you started." One afternoon, with just $18 left in his account, Ethan took his prototype drone to the edge of a park. He launched it into the air and watched it dance. It moved like no drone ever had before, a fluid, smart, responsive. A child clapped. A man stopped and asked, "Did you build that?" Ethan nodded. "From scratch." The man smiled. "I run a startup. We've been looking for someone like you." One meeting turned into a contract. One demo became a partnership. Within 6 months, Ethan's designs were being tested for emergency response units. His name started appearing in niche tech blogs. A journalist even called him the comeback king. But Ethan didn't let it change him. He remembered the floor he once sat on, the letter that broke him, the silence that scared him. You don't discover your inner strength when life is kind. You find it when life tries to bury you, and you dig yourself out with nothing but belief. A year after losing his job, Ethan stood on a stage, speaking at a tech conference. He wasn't wearing a suit. He wore his favorite hoodie and jeans. Comfortable. Real. He took a breath and told his story. No sugarcoating. No shortcuts. Just truth. People say I was lucky, but luck didn't keep me going when the money ran out. Luck didn't wire my prototype at 3 a.m. Luck didn't tell me to keep trying when the world laughed. He looked across the crowd and said, "Clearly, your greatest asset is not talent. It's mindset. Your inner strength isn't found. It's built. And it starts the day you stop waiting for a way and become the way." The crowd stood, cheered. Some cried. But Ethan? He smiled quietly, eyes reflecting not pride but peace. He had found something no job could offer. Purpose. Today, Ethan runs CoreRise Technologies, an innovation company employing 40-plus people who once stood exactly where he had, broken, confused, unsure. He mentors others, visits schools, tells students the truth. The world doesn't owe you safety, but you owe yourself a chance to fight for the life you're meant to live. He kept the letter that started it all framed above his desk, not as a wound, but as a reminder. That rock bottom isn't the end. It's where strength is born.